कुशन्न एकर्षे यम सूर्य प्राजापत्य
उष्ण एकर्षे यम सूर्य
Anakrsha
प्राजापत्य
Yamasudya
व्यूह रश्मीन समूह तेजो
व्यूह रश्मिन
Yuparashmin
समूह तेजो
Samuhati
यत्ते रूपम कल्याणतमं तत्ते पश्यामि
यत्ते
Tatyarupam
रूपं
Kalyana Tamam
कल्याणतमं
Tattva
तत्ते
Pashyami
पश्यामि
योऽसावसौ पुरुषः सोऽहमस्मि
योषाव
Sapurusha Soham
पुरुषः सोहम अस्मि.
Someone like to read?
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Translation. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulative principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun as am I. Purport. The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitatively. Similarly, the Lord and the living entities are one and the same in quality. The sun is one, but the molecules of the sun's rays are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute part of the sun, and the sun and its rays conjointly constitute the complete sun. Within the sun itself resides the sun god, and similarly within the supreme spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, from which the Brahma Jyotir effulgence is emanating, the Lord enjoys his eternal pastimes as verified in Brahma Samhita 5.29. Chintamani prakara sadmashu kalpa vriksha lakshavriteshu surabhirabhipalayantam lakshmi sahasra satasambhrama sevayamanam Govindamadi Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor. Yeah. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, fulfilling all desires and abodes, filled with spiritual gems, and surrounded by millions of wish fulfilling trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or goddess of fortune. The Brahma Jyotir is described in the Brahma Samhita as the rays emanating from that supreme spiritual planet. Yes. The Brahma Jyotir is described in the Brahma Samhita as the rays emanating from that supreme spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, just as the sun's rays emanate from the sun globe. Until one surpasses the glare of the Brahma Jyotir, one cannot receive information of the land of the Lord. The impersonalist philosopher, blinded as they are by the dazzling Brahma Jyotir, can realize neither the factual abode of the Lord nor his transcendental form. Limited by their poor fund of knowledge, such impersonalist thinkers cannot understand the all blissful transcendental form of Lord Krishna. In this prayer, therefore, Sri Isopanishad petitions the Lord to remove the effulgent rays of the Brahma Jyotir so that the pure devotees can see his all blissful transcendental form. By realizing the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, one by realizing the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, one experiences the auspicious aspect of the Supreme. By realizing the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, one experiences the auspicious aspect of the Supreme, and by realizing the Paramatma or the all-pervading future of the Supreme, one experiences an even more auspicious enlightenment. But by meeting the personality of Godhead Himself face to face, the devotee experiences the most auspicious feature of the Supreme. Since he is addressed as the primeval philosopher and maintainer and well-wisher of the universe, the supreme truth cannot be impersonal. This is the verdict of Sri Ishopanishad. This is the verdict of Sri Ishopanishad. The word Pushan, that is maintainer, is especially significant for although the Lord maintains all beings, he specifically maintains his devotees. After surpassing the impersonal Brahma Jyotir and seeing the personal aspect of the Lord and his most auspicious eternal form, the devotee realizes the absolute truth in full. In the Bhagavad Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami states, the complete concession of the absolute truth is realized in the personality of Godhead because he is almighty and possesses full transcendental potencies. The full potency of the truth, the full potency of the absolute truth is not realized in the Brahma Jyoti. Therefore, Brahman realization is only partial realization of the personality of Godhead. O learned sages, the first syllable of the word Bhagavana has two meanings. The first is one who fully maintains, and the second is guardian. The second syllable ga means guide, leader, or creator. The syllable vana indicates that every being lives in him, and that he also lives in every being. In other words, the transcendental sound Bhagavan represents infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without a tinge of material inebriety. Lord fully maintains his unalloyed devotees, and he guides them progressively on the path toward devotional perfection. As the leader of his devotees, he ultimately awards the desired results of devotional service by giving himself to them. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord eye to eye by his causeless mercy. Thus, the Lord helps his devotees reach the supermost spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan. Being the creator, he can bestow all necessary qualifications upon his devotees so that they can ultimately reach him. The Lord is the cause of all causes. In other words, since there is nothing that caused him, he is the original cause. Consequently, he enjoys his own self by manifesting his own internal potency. The external potency is not exactly manifested by him, for he expands himself as the Purushas, and it is in these forms that he maintains the features of the material manifestation. By such expansions, he creates, maintains, and annihilates the cosmic manifestation. Cosmic manifestation. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord Self. And because some of them desire to be Lords and imitate the Supreme Lord, He allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option to fully utilize their propensity to lord it over nature. Because of the presence of His parts and parcels, the living entities, the entire phenomenal world is stirred into action and reaction. Thus, the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature. But the ultimate controller is the Lord Himself in His plenary feature as Paramatma, the Supersoul, which is one of the Purushas. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between the living entity, Atma, and the controlling Lord, Paramatma, the soul and the super soul. Paramatma is the controller and Atma is the controlled. Therefore, they are in different categories. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma, he is known as the constant companion of the living being, the all pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, as well as in potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti, living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Since the Lord is the origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, He is the origin of all the living entities and all else that exists. One who knows this engages himself at once in the devotional service of the Lord. Such a pure and full cognizant devotee of the Lord is fully attached to Him in heart and soul. And whenever such a devotee assembles with similar devotees, they have no engagement but the glorification of the Lord's transcendental activities. Those who are not as perfect as the pure devotees, namely those who have realized only the Brahman or Paramatma feature of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of the perfect devotees. The Lord always helps the pure devotees by imparting necessary knowledge within their hearts, and thus, out of His special favor, He dissipates all the darkness of ignorance. The speculative philosophers and the yogis cannot imagine this because they more or less depend on their own strength. As stated in the Kathopanishad 1:23, the Lord can be known only by those whom He favors and not by anyone else. Such special favors are bestowed upon His pure devotees only. Sri Ishopanishad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahma Jyotir. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Hmm. So, O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wishers of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I. Hmm. So, see, Mamev Ansh Jeev Loke Jeev Bhut Sanatana, Krishna is saying. So that's the first part of the verse. So if we break this verse into two parts, the first part is saying that every living entity is originating from the Supreme. Therefore, this living entity is maintaining the characteristics of the Supreme. Anandamaya Abhyasat, always trying to be happy. Because the Lord is Anandamay, He is Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Therefore, the living entity is trying to be Anandamaya Abhyasat. He's trying to be Anandamay. Now, this is a bit difficult to conceive. Actually, this is the inconceivable part of the Vedic knowledge. That living entity is simultaneously one with the Lord but different from Him, meaning that it originates from the Lord and yet it has a separate identity. It possesses the qualities of the Lord but to a minimal extent. So, in this way, the living entity is simultaneously same as the Lord but different from Him. So, when we say quantitative and qualitative difference and non difference, it's a bit like it's a very simple, it's a bit simplified generalization, but the truth is far more complex. In the beginning was one, and for his own pleasure he divided into many. This is what Vishnu Puran says. So the Lord divided himself into many parts, which are the Jiva Tattvas, Tatastha Shakti. But due to the independence which is imparted by the Supreme Lord, because the Lord cannot enjoy loving relations with devotees if they don't have any independence. Love is voluntary, it is never forced. The Lord can force us to love Him. He can completely take over our consciousness and force us to love Him. But that would take away the very meaning of love. Love means voluntary, it has to be done out of one's own free will. So the living entity is endowed with that free will. But if that free will is misused even a little bit, immediately the material creation is manifest. This material creation is actually separated from the Lord. So, for instance, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, or no, Srila Prabhupada himself says, yes, that personality is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, has nothing to do with the material nature. He's completely independent of it. The personality of Godhead who maintains some affection for the material nature is Vishnu. So therefore, Vishnu is somewhat different from Krishna. Therefore, he is not manifesting all the qualities of Krishna. But that is also necessary because there are living entities in this world who want to enjoy here. So for their enjoyment, somehow or the other, this kind of arrangement is created, this material energy. The activities of the material energy are difficult to understand, because it is also very complex. It is the external energy of the Lord. Now, very interesting point here is for the maintenance of the living entities, this material energy is being manifest. At the same time, the sum total of all living entities is Mahadev or Lord Shiva, who is also an expansion of the Supreme. So he's a, like you can say, he's a primal deity within this material world. Now, to realize the Supreme Lord, one has to be able to give up this misconception of independence. One has to give up this misconception of being the master of this world. See, this desire to lord it over the world is also coming from the Lord only, because we are his parts and parcels. So, therefore, we also desire to lord it over. But as soon as that desire to lord it over arises, conception of Krishna is completely forgotten. Actually, it's the other way around. When the conception of Krishna is forgotten, then the desire to lord it over manifests. So somehow or the other, we have to purify ourselves. So because we are desiring to lord it over, we are suffering in this world. Mana Shashtani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So situated in this material energy, we are struggling because we cannot really be Lord. That's an unnatural situation. So as soon as we try to become the Lord, we are put in a temporary situation which frustrates us. Therefore, the living entity is always frustrated within the material world. And that is the main difference between Atma and Paramatma. So, yogis realize the Supreme in various stages. So, very preliminary understanding of the Supreme Lord is his external manifestation, also called the Virat Purush manifestation, which is described in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Beyond the Virat Purush manifestation, those yogis who are accomplished can perceive the Prabha or the effulgence of the Lord. So that's called the Hiranmayana Patrena that we were seeing day before, 3 days ago. That's Hiranmaya Patra. That's the vessel of golden covering which is covering the manifestation of the Lord from our eyes. So in this way, the more accomplished yogi can perceive this Brahma Jyoti. But those who are able to progress still further in yoga sadhana can actually perceive the Paramatma or the reflection of the Lord within the heart. However, pure bliss can be attained only if the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be realized, the origin of all this. Because Brahma Jyoti is just his effulgence and Paramatma is his reflection. So, yes, reflection has some value, but beyond this reflection is the original person himself, who really brings pleasure to the heart, Govinda. So, an accomplished yogi is actually able to realize Govinda within the heart. And that's really the perfection of yoga, to realize Govinda. So, one cannot really on his own realize Krishna just like that. The Supreme Lord always tries to liberate the living entities. Living entities have to also have the will to be liberated. The Supreme Lord tries, but he does not interfere. Someone may think, I am suffering in this world. Why is the Lord not delivering me? So, therein lies the answer that we are perceiving suffering in this world. That means we are still having some desire to be the Lord. One may think, oh, I am in so much agony, so much misery. So, that itself is the proof that we are attached to this world. Like in Gita, the Supreme Lord is saying, Yamhina vivatsante te purusham purusha shaba samudukha sukham dhiram so amritatvaya kalpate. That one who is able to tolerate happiness and misery both in this world is eligible for liberation. That means a liberated soul does not have any conception of happiness or distress in this world. So if we are perceiving happiness and distress in this world, that means we are still attached in some respects and therefore we are not eligible to be liberated. So we have to practice. So therefore, the Lord indirectly interferes. The Lord does not directly interfere and purify us because that's not our desire. So he sends his advice in the form of scriptures and the spiritual master. So externally, he manifests as the Vedic knowledge and the spiritual master. Internally, he manifests as the Paramatma and he's always trying to guide us on the right path. He will always guide us, he'll never force us unless we surrender. So externally, Maya Mukta Jivera Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. To show his mercy, he manifests Vedas also. So spiritual master, Vedic knowledge, all these are manifestations of the Supreme meant for the liberation of the living entity. Then as spiritual master, who is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead, the Supreme Lord again manifests to give the same instructions of the Vedas so that the living entity can understand and become liberated from this temporary conditioning. Therefore, the scriptures advise us to surrender to the spiritual master. Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Because the spiritual master is Tattvadarshi. So he can deliver us. He has the capacity to deliver us. So the prayer here is to remove this, this this golden covering, which is completely, obscuring the Lord's vision from our eyes. The Lord is well-wisher of all, so Hridam Sarva Bhutana. But still, the Lord cannot be realized so easily. One has to learn to surrender completely. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. Santah sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti. So, by covering the eyes with a lotion of love, one can see the Supreme. He is perceived within the heart. So, it's not that one will say, oh, I saw Krishna, I saw Radha. No, that is not the way. Hey Radhe Vraja Devike, Hey Lalite Cha Vishakhe, Hey Nanda Shuno Kutao. This is what the Goswamis are singing. That one does not perceive the Lord directly. So the manifestation of the Lord is within the heart in the form of pure love of Godhead. Then one will slowly become more and more eager to see him, and then one will be able to see him. Krishna will provide the intelligence from within for us to be able to see him. Hare Krishna. Yes. Any questions or comments? Okay. So if not, then we stop here today. Tomorrow we'll continue with text number 17. Okay. So
The, uh, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Lord is
yes.
even addressed as or regulating principle.
Hmm.
Even the principle can be addressed as a personality.
He is, yes, regulating principle, not the regulative principle.
Okay, what is the
So
difference?
there's a technical difference here. So when we say, oh, regulating principle, see, principle means foundation, basis. Also, that's also synonym of principle. So the Supreme Lord is regulating the entire world through his internal and external energies. For example, demons cannot completely take over this world. The Lord regulates them. So he is the regulating principle also within this world. Just like the mother is the regulating principle within the family. So likewise, the Lord is the regulating principle within this material world.
How mother is a regulating principle?
Mother gives good moral education, gives moral values, basic principles.
Okay,
Because mother is the very primary contact that a child has with this world.
okay,
Mother and father both, we can say.
okay. So, scripturally, what is the role of a mother and role of a father? Like there may be a slight difference in both of them, right?
So technically, mother gives affection and nourishment. Father is the sustainer. Father is the natural spiritual master.
Okay, that is their what you can say a material role. In spiritual
Hmm.
context, what are the roles?
In spiritual context, actually they hold no significance
Like
in the sense
it
that
is, it is
mother
always
and
said,
father
na,
are the same.
it is always said the father always has to imbibe spiritual principles in the child.
Hmm. So
Like
preliminary principles, but that is any guardian. That is any guardian's job.
okay,
Like it could be an elder sibling, it could be a neighbor, anyone who's elder in contact with a child. That's their responsibility. If someone has taken our shelter, it is our responsibility to guide them in the right manner.
okay. So one aspect is telling about protecting them from protecting their mind, body, soul. Second is guiding them about the social responsibilities. But more importantly, a father is supposed to give spiritual guidance to his family members, right?
Yes. Father has to give basics. Father has to give guidance to mother also and to children. Mother also has to imbibe. Like in previous ages, mothers would tell basic stories like Ramayana, Mahabharata, or some other Puranic stories to imbibe moral principles within children. Because mother is giving nutrition, mother is giving shelter. So it's her responsibility to give the correct shelter.
Prabhuji, one question here. Hare Krishna
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Like,
What if the father doesn't give any spiritual values, only the mother keeps giving? In certain houses, there might be a case like Prahlad Maharaj, wherein the father is not interested in Vishnu, but the mother is okay with. So, there
yes.
are certain houses here in this yuga also, wherein the fathers are not bothered about Krishna consciousness, but mother is wanting Krishna consciousness. So, spiritual values are being only imbibed by the mother. So, how does it affect on the father, or how is the total effect overall? What should it be done? What is ideal?
Ideally, his father should give spiritual education, but for that, the father himself must be spiritually educated. Otherwise, this is animalistic. And animals also give birth to children. So unless we are spiritually qualified, we are not human beings. We may think, oh, I'm a very big man, I'm a doctor, engineer, prime minister, president, but actually, I'm just an animal if I'm not spiritually qualified.
And then what if the mother only keeps giving spiritual values to the child?
Well, she'll get the benefit also. It will be her benefit.
So it will be like what 50-50, half will the house will be half animal kingdom and half will be like Krishna conscious. Is it so or it should be improved definitely. One fine day
Yes.
the father may change. But if it doesn't change, what would happen? It will be this way.
Hmm.
Abrupt ending. Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Yes. Great. Any other questions?
What does the sentence exactly mean? You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead. Understood this part. Like unto the sun as am I. So, what do you understand by this phrase? Like unto the sun as am I.
Hmm. Just one moment. What is the last Sanskrit verse here? Hmm. The sun and the rays are one and the same qualitatively. The very first line of purport. So, see, the living entity is also a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Mm. So, you are, see, Krishna is Satchidanand Vigraha. The living entity is also a fragmental part of the Supreme only. See, you are the eternal Supreme Personality of Godhead, like unto the sun, as am I. So, I am also a fragment. I am also having that effulgence, that kind of, that is spiritual effulgence that you have. But I am fragmental, you are complete. So I am your part and parcel. This is the meaning of this sentence.
Okay.
Not to be taken in a Mayavadi way, in the sense that I am as you are.
I am as you are.
Yeah, I am like you. I am
Okay.
qualitatively the same as
Qualitative.
you.
Okay. So it is emphasized over here that qualitatively I am like you. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Chilo Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.